Now, here's a little Briggs versus Tecumseh quality control type of thing here. Not really a fair comparison. This is a 1975 3-horse Briggs 8 cubic inch. I was just doing a reseal on it because it started leaking oil from the sump gasket, and I figured, well, I'll just replace every gasket on it since I let my sister use this one, and figured I'd lap the valves here at the same time, since I've got the tool now to make it really quick and easy to get the springs out. And these had no issues to start with, so I just lapped them up and they turned out fantastic. They look perfect. This appears to be a really low use engine. A guy down the street from me wound up with all of the junk equipment from our local lawnmower shop in town. This was like a 15-year accumulation of crap. And I saw this machine sitting in the back of there once. I was ordering parts, and I wound up getting it from my neighbor for free. Fixed it up, let my sister use it. Works great, runs great. I think it sat outside half its life. The aluminum cylinder here has no ring ridge. Oh, look at that, another cool bore Briggs with cross hatching in the cylinder. And this one's in really good shape, just has some ring marks on it. Can't even feel them. Factory lock tabs on the rod still, so you know it's never been apart. So yeah, there's these people on these forums saying, oh, these were Nicosil coated and all this other weird crap, and Briggs never honed them. Well, past about the 2000 model year, they quit honing them. And I've had some of those apart, and you can see the boring marks in those, especially if it's a well-used engine. It'll kind of wear that away, but where the rings don't ride down here, you can still see it. But a couple months ago, I got this free Craftsman lawnmower with the Tecumseh on it, and it smoked and knocked like crazy, so I wound up putting a good used Honda engine I had on it and sold that mower. And I've just been using this as like a kind of a screw around with experimental thing. I've got this mini lathe here, and I thought, I tried this once before with a junk valve with the cutting tool, and it did not work for turning a valve. So I put this stone in it here, and that's really not correct either. That stone should be spinning. I know this is not really something I'd ever try on a good engine, but I kind of got a technique going down here, and I do believe that might work. I think that would lap in just fine. And these valves were all out of whack. I set it at a 46-degree angle, just like you normally would on a valve grinder. And that's some careful grinding, and then I took and spun these both in my cordless drill, and I wrapped a mini file with some 1000 grit sandpaper around it, and I just used it by hand just to polish up any stone marks, and it took them right out. But I got to looking here. It appears Tecumseh kind of has these valves on a slight angle, but then I noticed on the seat here, this half is shiny and clean, this half is all dark like it's not sealing. Well, not only is I'll drop this valve in here, not only is the valve at kind of an angle, they press the seat into the bore crooked as well, so that's why it's not sealing properly. And then this one here is really not quite sealing right. It's sealing way at the top edge. I mean, this thing was junk anyways, and I don't know what happened. I think what somebody had done, because they had a brand new air filter, I think someone took the air filter off, dropped the housing in the dirt, picked up a pebble or something and put the new air filter in, and I think that's what's tore it all up, because I thought it was a rod knocker when I first got it because I had no oil in it. And it started for a second on the prime, knocked like crazy. I thought, well, maybe the blade's loose, so I checked that and it was tight. I put some used oil in it. As soon as I went to start it again with the oil in it, it smoked my driveway out like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. And the piston out of it, the rings are in the garbage now, but the piston and rings were totally fine. So this was definitely a foreign object matter, but I've worked on a lot of these And I don't know, they're always advertised as 5, 6, 6.5 horsepower, and they never had half the power of an old 3.5 horse flathead Briggs that was running good. And I think stuff like this is probably why. I think this is why some of them start and run great for half a century, and some of them never start and run quite right, or they'll start hard no matter what you do to them. It's crap like that. And the valves, the Tecumseh valves here, they were all out of whack too. And this, I mean, the mower didn't have any rust. It barely had a scratch in it. I think it sat in someone's garage for 25 years, and they threw it out by the curb when I got it. But yeah, that's just a little funny Briggs versus Tecumseh quality control thing. Notice these ones are nice and straight pressed in. Just a little funny little observation I noticed that some weirdo like me would get a kick out of. Alright, I'm changing this crank seal here, and I figured I'll check the points. I put a new set of points and condenser with the new plunger in 4.5 years ago when I got this thing going, and since it started leaking oil, my sister let it sit outside in the rain for 3 years. Yeah, points are so unreliable when they sit outside. I can't even... They still look just like brand new. I don't know if you can see that, but they're shiny on my end. Okay, the flashlight under my double chin didn't work, but you can kind of see it. They're still shiny just like new. Now, this thing sat outside in the rain for about 3 years now, out in the elements, and no corrosion on the points, yet some people say, the lawnmower sat over the winter and it didn't start because the points got corroded. Well, what was the thing sitting underwater? And here's a little tip. I bet these guys that are cussing the points that don't like to work on them because they're so unreliable, I bet you they never degreased their feeler gauge before they stuck it in there after they just cleaned the contacts.